This project had its origin about 7 or 8 years ago. I'd always had an interest in fixed gear bikes, and upon discovering a website called Fixed Gear Gallery, which deals exclusively with the subject and invites builders to send in details of their particular creations, I was sufficiently motivated to give it a go. Anyhow, the first thing I had to do was to go out and get a new wheel made up. And for this I chose a fairly inexpensive Quando hub, made in Taiwan, and on one side I fitted a 17-tooth fixed sprocket, and on the other side I fitted a freewheel, so I had a choice either to ride it as a single speed or as a fixed gear. And for the rim I chose a Mavic CXP21. This is one of the CXP series. The 21 is one of the cheapest ones, but they have a reputation of being strong and durable. So with this setup, I then set about looking for a suitable donor bike. Well, that was quite easy. I simply stole my daughter's bike. I tore off all the weary-geary stuff and replaced the original rear wheel with my newly built one. Having lashed the thing together, I found that I really enjoyed the experience, although when forgetful I was at times forcibly reminded that I couldn't stop pedalling. Also, the bike was too small for me, so I then searched around for a 57cm frame road bike and was fortunate enough to get hold of a 1980 top-of-the-line gold-coloured Nishiki Ultimate that featured Campagnola new record components throughout. Before proceeding further, I put the new rear wheel in, connected up to a crank, just to make sure that everything worked okay. Having stripped it down, I realised that I'd got hold of something special. Not only was the frame excellent, but it featured semi-horizontal dropouts, which would make it particularly suitable for setting chain tension, as shown in this graphic. Additionally, when I fitted the rear wheel, I found that the rear sprocket lined up within about 3mm of the chain wheel, another important consideration, as this diagram displays. Also, it had no braze-ons. All components, including cable guides, were clamped on, so when stripped down the frame looked very clean with no excrescences. Having sanded most of the gold paint off, I treated the frame and forks to a new matte charcoal finish with a rattle spray can courtesy of Canadian Tire. I assembled the bike retaining the Campy crank, 42-tooth chain wheel and brakes. First rides were very promising, and when winter soon turned to spring, I was able to get in some respectable distances and rode it regularly over the next couple of years. Eventually I realised that rather than being just a winter project, I now wanted it to be a permanent member of my bike inventory, and so I made the decision to upgrade it now into a no-compromise, up-to-date, full-on fixie. Firstly, I took some of the original Campy components to a bike shop in Toronto and straight swapped them for a brand new French TA bottom bracket. I also had in my possession at the time a modern Campagnola Veloci crank and 42-tooth chain wheel, which, when mounted to the TA bottom bracket, happily gave a perfect chain line. I also added a new pair of Shimano 324 pedals, which feature a flat platform on one side and an SPD clip on the other. Somewhat reluctantly I removed the very nice looking caliper brakes and replaced them with Tektro double pivot units with aero levers, which, although not as easy on the eye, certainly give improved stopping compared with the older technology 1980 units. You can also see here that I upgraded the rims to the lighter high-end CXP33 standard and fitted a pair of Continental Grand Prix 3000 tyres. For the hubs, I chose the very popular and reasonably priced Mishi Primato track hubs from Italy. The rear hub now is just fixed with no freewheel option, and very sportingly I thought, a 16-tooth sprocket replaces the original 17-tooth version to raise the gearing a bit. I fitted a Whipperman Connex chain, which features a slot in one link, which you can see here, to facilitate chain removal and replacement. No link extractor tool is required. Well, this is the bike as of mid-February 2011. Just move in and have a quick walk around. You can see the very nice Michi hub with the high flange. Look very attractive, really. Very nice hub. You move up a little bit, you can see the twin pivot brakes, and above that the aero levers where the cables go inside the handlebar tape rather than wave around in the air. We go down the down tube and you see there's a very nice clean canteen cage and bottle, much nicer than the plastic variety. There's the Veloci 42 tooth hub, 42 tooth chain wheel, and the sprocket, which is 16 tooth. And you'll see there's a wrench sticking on the end of it, and that's what you need to actually take the wheel in and out. It doesn't have any quick release because this is a track hub, which is also the reason why the tool bag is a little larger than you might think, but it gives you a bit of spare space to take snacks or whatever with you. There's only one other thing I just wanted to mention. You'll notice that the bike has a name on the frame, McAfee, and the name McAfee is a tribute to my immediate family, and the first letter of their given names, Margaret my wife, Amanda and Catherine my daughters, and then my granddaughters Amy, Faith, Ethan and Emma. So that's where the McAfee came from. Now the combination of the 42 tooth chain wheel and the 16 tooth sprocket gives a gearing of 71 inches. And just to give you an idea of what that looks like, to complete the picture I'm just going to do 1 or 2 runs up and down the street. My wife will film me as I go past to give you some idea of what 71 inch gearing looks like in terms of the cadence and speed.
If you couldn't catch the speed that I called out, it was 27 kph on both passes. Well, there's not much more to add, except to stress that I did restore my daughter's bike to its original 12-gear configuration and returned it to her undamaged. Furthermore, I'm very pleased to report that she has ridden it with me on numerous country excursions during the past year or so. So, in conclusion, why not get yourself fixed? You'll be glad you did.